In this video, I'll share with you how to make your one-on-ones more effective with your team. Now, I know some leaders do not enjoy having one-on-one conversations with their group because they see it as a huge time suck. However, if you do them right, this is an opportunity for you to get information that you need in a more candid way, because oftentimes meeting with employees one-on-one, they might be servicing things that they might not feel comfortable sharing with a bigger group. But the other is that then you can have better insight on what's working, what's not, and see across your team where potential synergies can be. So I want to share with you 3 things that will make your one-on-ones more effective for both you and your employee. If we haven't met before, my name is Mary Grace Gardner, and I'm a leadership coach who has, for the past 15 years, advised executives in multi-billion-dollar companies on how to build high-performing teams. Now, I'll admit, when I first started having one-on-ones, either with my leader or with my direct report, I didn't do them in the best way, and oftentimes would come to these conversations with no structure, no process, and it became a social conversation. And while it might have felt great to share our personal stories about what happened over the weekend, we didn't get a lot done. And so over time, I figured out a better method that I use with my direct reports, and I have taught my executives to use as well. So here are 3 things that you can do too to make your conversations with your direct reports even better. Now, the first is making sure that your direct report sets the agenda. Now, this can be a little bit awkward because sometimes employees will come into conversations with you expecting that you will have a bunch of things you want to tell them. It's important for your direct report to know that this is their meeting. This is the chance for them to give you critical updates that you might not be hearing in other venues, watch outs or issues that they might not want to say in public yet, or personal development things that they might want to share with you. This is the time to do that. Oftentimes, they'll look to you as the leader to just give them a bunch of updates, give them direction. So it's really important that you make it clear that the ball is in their court. They are driving the agenda. Even better is if they can send you the agenda before the meeting. So you can discern, is there enough there for you to actually have a full meeting? Should it be deferred to your next conversation when you have more to talk about? Or are there no updates to be shared and you can cancel that meeting? So if you're able to get into that expectation where your direct report is sharing an agenda with you and you get to actually see it beforehand, it's even better. And then do know that, yes, of course, you should still share whatever is on your mind as well, but that should be less of the time. And most of the time should be the direct report directing that conversation. So what I like to do is ask the direct report, so what is it that you want to talk about today? And then they'll give you their list, and then I'll let them know, oh, and there's 2 things I want to make sure that we talk about. So let me know if I should say that for the end. And we can clarify if what they think is going to be urgent that you need to know now should be told first, or if what you're about to share with them is actually more urgent or important and you can go first. So setting that mutual expectation up front is really helpful to run a good conversation. The second thing that's important that people oftentimes skip is creating personal connection in these one-on-one conversations. Now, I'll talk about kindness in another video because I think that's super important. But a place to be able to demonstrate kindness and connection is in these one-on-one conversations. Oftentimes when you're in bigger meetings, people just jump straight into the agenda, go straight into the meeting, and you never get a chance to actually personally connect. And so being able to have some sort of personal connection at the beginning, asking about how things are going, how a project is going, how things are going with them over the weekend on their trip, whatever it might be, being able to have that personal connection actually goes a long way in building trust. That's the main thing, is making sure that you are in a situation where people feel like they are connected and trust you, and vice versa is really important. And jumping straight into business oftentimes creates that distance. And the whole point of these one-on-one conversations is to be able to have more candid conversations with your employees. So making sure there's some sort of personal connection with your employee is important. And it doesn't have to be super long. It could be a minute or a couple of minutes, but being able to make sure that you have that sort of opportunity to connect is going to be really important. And then the last thing I think that you should make sure that you do, especially towards the end of your one-on-one conversation, is making sure that you clarify whether or not they can solve the problems that they raised in the conversation themselves, or if there is an expectation for you to do something. And in particular, what's important is to discern, is there something that you need to do specifically to equip your employee to resolve the problem, or if it's truly a barrier that only you can resolve, and clarifying what that is. Oftentimes, employees will share all sorts of things and updates, and then people walk away unclear about, wait, is she doing that? Am I doing that? Are they doing that? And so making sure, if your employee isn't doing that during the conversation, that you make sure to close that loop and clarify, did you need something from me in order to be able to get that done? Or do you feel like you have what you need in order to take the next step? That sort of clarification is going to go so long and so far in getting stuff done. And people oftentimes don't. It sounds so basic, but you'll be surprised if you do this at scale, how many times people are unclear about the actions that are to be taken after a conversation. You'll be able to have so much more done so much quickly. So you'll be able to get so much more done much more quickly instead. So that said, the one-on-one is a great way to be able to build rapport with your team and empower them to be able to solve problems themselves and to be successful. The kinder that you are in these conversations, the more powerful they actually become. And oftentimes, though, leaders approach kindness in a way that doesn't really solve things or isn't helpful. And instead, it's purely just social, or they're just being nice in these conversations. So in the next video, what I want to do is go over how kindness can accelerate performance. I'll see you there.